Okay, let's talk about something super frustrating. Your inverter keeps shutting down with a low voltage warning, but you look over and your battery monitor says it's fully charged. Well, I'm here to tell you the problem probably isn't just your battery. The problem is your entire system.
Oh man, it's one of the most maddening things, right? The monitor says 100%, everything looks great. But the second you fire up the microwave or the coffee maker, bam, everything just goes dark. So what on earth is going on?
And you've probably heard all the usual advice, right? Oh, just charge your battery more. Stop using so much power. Or the classic, you just need a bigger battery. And look, sometimes that's true, but a lot of the time, that's just putting a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem.
So let's stop treating the symptoms. It's time to get to the bottom of this. We're going to play detective and figure out the real root cause of what's going on here.
Okay, here is the absolute key to understanding this whole thing. Your inverter? It could not care less what your battery voltage is when everything is just sitting there turned off. What it really cares about is the voltage at the exact moment you ask for power. That's the moment of truth. And that, my friends, is where everything changes.
And this sudden drop, this phenomenon, it actually has a name, and understanding it is the secret to fixing this problem for good. We're talking about something called voltage sag.
So what is voltage sag? Well, in the simplest terms, it's that sudden nosedive your system's voltage takes the second you turn on something heavy, like an appliance. You can almost think of it like a person trying to lift a heavy weight. They might look strong just standing there, but under load, they might buckle. That's your voltage buckling under pressure.
And here's what that looks like with real numbers. When your system is off, you might see a beautiful, healthy 12.8 volts. Everything seems perfect. But then, you hit the start button on that microwave, and in an instant, the voltage can just crash down to, say, 10.5 volts. Your inverter sees that and says, whoa, nope, and shuts everything down to protect itself.
So this frustrating voltage sag, it almost always boils down to one of three culprits. It could be a weak or undersized battery. It could be that you're drawing a ton of current, or it could be hidden voltage loss in your cables and connections. So let's break these down and figure out which one is plaguing your system.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty. Well, figuratively. It's time to become a system investigator. We're going to go through this step by step just like a pro would to diagnose what's really going on.
Step 1 is super simple. Turn everything off. Let the system rest. Now measure your battery voltage at the terminals. For a full lead acid, you're looking for something around 12.8 volts. For lithium, maybe 13.2. Okay, got that number? Now for step 2. Turn on your biggest, heaviest load, a microwave, a heater, whatever you've got, and keep your eyes glued to that voltmeter. If you see that voltage take a nosedive, boom, you've just officially confirmed you've got a voltage sag problem.
Okay, next up, we need to understand just how much power you're actually asking for. Don't worry, the math is easy. All you do is take the power of your appliance in watts, it's usually on a sticker somewhere, and divide it by your system's voltage, which is probably 12 volts. The number you get is the current draw, in amps.
Now, to put that in perspective, because amps can sound a bit abstract, let's say you're running a 1,000-watt appliance on a 12-volt system. That's pulling a staggering 83 amps. That is a huge amount of current. And if your system, your battery, your wires, your connections, isn't built to handle that kind of massive flow, well, it's just going to choke. The voltage has no choice but to collapse. All right, next, let's get our eyes on the actual hardware. Start with the battery. Is it old? Especially with older lead-acid batteries, they can build up something called internal resistance. It's sneaky because they'll show a full voltage when they're resting, but they just can't deliver the punch when you need it. While you're there, look at your cables. Are they beefy? We're talking thick, proper gauge cables. And are they as short as they can possibly be? Every extra inch adds resistance. Okay, now for a step that is so often overlooked, but honestly, it could be the most critical one of all. You need to check every single connection. Every single nut, bolt, and terminal is a potential weak link. Remember, resistance is our enemy, and a loose connection is like a wide open gate for resistance to come rushing in.
And I mean physically check them. Put a wrench on them. The main battery terminals, the big lugs on your inverter. Check your fuse holders. And while you're there, use your eyes. Do you see any discoloration, any signs of melted plastic? This is huge. A loose connection doesn't just cause voltage sag, it generates an incredible amount of heat. We're talking a major fire risk here. Don't skip this.
Almost there. Two last things to check. First, dive into your inverter's settings. Make sure its low voltage cutoff point is set correctly for your specific battery chemistry. Lithium and lead acid have different needs. And finally, if you've done all of this, and I mean all of it, and you're still getting shutdowns, it might be time for some tough love. Your system might just be fundamentally undersized for what you're asking it to do. Okay, you've done the hard work, you've investigated your system, now let's tie it all together and turn your findings into an actual solution. This chart here really makes it simple. So, if your big discovery was that sharp voltage drop under load, your prime suspects are a weak battery or cables that are too thin. The fix? Upgrade one or both. Now, if you found any hot connections or melted plastic, stop what you're doing. That's a sign of loose terminals. You need to tighten and inspect everything immediately. And hey, if you went through everything and it all looks perfect, well, then the system itself is the problem. It's just not big enough for your needs.
Okay, before we finish, I have to say something really, really important. We need to shift our thinking here. This whole issue, it's not just an inconvenience. It's not just about your coffee maker not working.
I want you to burn this into your brain. An inverter shutdown isn't the problem. It's your system's last line of defense. It's a built-in safety feature screaming at you that something is wrong, and it's shutting down to prevent a catastrophic failure. Every single time that inverter gives you a low voltage warning, it's telling you that you are pushing your system to its breaking point. You could be overloading components, you could be permanently killing your very expensive batteries, and worst of all, you could be dangerously overheating your wiring.
You know, electrical failures, especially fires, they don't just happen. It's not a sudden thing. It's a slow burn. It's a problem, like a loose connection, that quietly builds up heat day after day, until one day, it doesn't. It fails, all at once.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a hard look at your setup. Was it designed with safety and robustness in mind, or was it just thrown together for convenience, just to get the lights on? Because at the end of the day, fixing the root cause isn't just about convenience. It's about making your system truly safe.